Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, April 23rd. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Officials in the Ministry of Agriculture are once again being called upon to lift their game. This was reiterated by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who said he is using the occasion to pressure the staff to get their work done. Speaking specifically to the Farmers Credit Support Facility, PM Gonsalves says the staff at the ministry needs to move more swiftly to get the allotted $6 million in the hands of farmers. Prime Minister Gonsalves told journalists that while he is pleased that the program is being rolled out, he is also disappointed that there has not been a faster disbursement of the monies. Dr. Gonsalves explains that to date, the ministry has only given approval for just over 300 applications to the tune of $1.2 million and has disbursed only $300,000 of that money.
That is, in my judgment, unsatisfactory. And I've made that plain to the Permanent Secretary, and I've made that plain to the Chief Agricultural Officer. Just over a week ago, when I had spoken to them, and spoken to the minister, they had indicated that they will step up the disbursements. At the time, they had done under 200, now they're 300 and something. Another 100 and something within the 10-day period since I last spoke to them, despite the fact that we had the long Easter weekend. In my view, not a good enough performance. The money is available.
Dr. Gonsalves says he does not want the monies to lie in the bank, but instead wants it in the hands of the farmers along with the fertilizers that have been secured for distribution.
2 sets of fertilizer to be distributed. 1 set at the input warehouse, the agricultural input warehouse, and the second set of the Morocco fertilizer, the gift. But the warehouse is still stocked with a lot of fertilizer. And of the 5,000 sacks of fertilizer from Morocco, roughly 3,000 sacks this morning is still undistributed. And those are to be distributed free. Of course, they had to be done in a transparent manner, and they've set up their own processes. So I'm using this press conference to put pressure on the Ministry of Agriculture.
Dr. Gonsalves was speaking at a media conference earlier today. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Gonsalves says while he is not encouraging the officials at the Ministry of Agriculture to go about throwing away the monies, he is expecting a faster rate of disbursement of the $6 million.
By the month of April, for them to be coming back to me and say, Prime Minister, I need some more of the $6 million. I didn't expect that I had to be calling them and tell them, why the hell have you not been spending this money that I put in the account? So I want the farmers to appreciate that if they have their beef with officials in the Ministry of Agriculture moving too slowly on this matter and behaving as though that they are an NGO who working at a pace which is different to ULP time, and saying plain and simple, that is unacceptable. I'm not knocking any individual. I'm just saying that I expect the game to be upped.
Meanwhile, the assurance has been given that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not being affected at the moment by 2 new diseases plaguing the agriculture industry in a number of South and Central American countries. Responding to a question posed by SVG-TV News on the possible threats of the 2 new diseases, former Minister of Agriculture and current Minister of Housing Montgomery Daniel explains that one of the diseases is called Fusarium wilt, also known as the Panama disease, which he says has been around before. Daniel says in the early 60s, the Palmer disease plagued bananas in SVG, causing Grammy Shell bananas to go out of existence commercially.
That disease is now reoccurring, and it is affecting bananas right now in the Central American countries. And so, if you hear of any new disease, it is Fusarium wilt, which is Panama disease that was here in the early 60s in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I know for that for bananas, but in terms of the other disease you're mentioning, there is, of course, the citrus disease that is affecting all of the varieties of citrus in the southern American states, Florida and so on. I don't know if that's one that you're talking about, but it is affecting, it has not gotten to St. Vincent as yet. And so that's the other disease I know that is threatening the southern states and possibly can get into the Caribbean, depending on how the movements go.
At today's media conference, the Prime Minister used the opportunity to provide members of the media with some information on his health after being instructed to rest at home following injuries to one of his ankles last week. Prime Minister Gonsalves says today is the second day he has been back in office and he's doing fine.
It's just that I had this unfortunate accident with my foot, my ankle, and I'm okay, you know, and knock wood that I'll be around for a little while yet. There are many unfinished tasks, including those to which I've just spoken.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister says he is scheduled to leave the state on Saturday, April 26th to attend official and other business in the United Kingdom.
On government business, and while I'm there, I'll also do something of a personal nature, but mainly on government business. There's some meetings with some investors, which I'm putting together. They've been more or less finalized, but you know, very busy people. We have to get them the dates targeted properly.
Students of the North Union Secondary School were given the opportunity today to interface with professionals as the school hosted its biennial career fair. The event was held under the theme Investing for the Future and featured booths set up by various businesses across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Principal of the institution, St. Clair de Santos, said the school offers a diverse curriculum which will help guide the students on choosing suitable careers.
Choosing a career can be a very daunting task, especially in a world which offers an array of paths, all of which seem to be leading to a golden goal. Careers can especially make or break one's life, so it is important to make the right choice. Career guidance can help you in pursuing the right courses, in the right colleges or institutions, and can guide you in choosing a suitable career.
De Santos told the students that with proper coaching, a job search would be easier. However, there would be times of uncertainty.
Hurdles, difficulties scare many a brave heart, as everyone aspires for a smooth sailing in life. It is very important to face difficulties and overcome these to succeed in life. Hurdles are there at every workplace, but those who dare to confront them turn them into opportunities and achieve success in any job or career. No human being is without potential. It all depends on how a person finds and utilizes it for a fruitful career.
Luke's Kids Club yesterday donated $1,080 in total to 2 members of the club who are at the moment dealing with special situations. The handing over, which took place at the Luke's Kids Club house in King Garden, saw recipients Javon Oliver and Matthew Charles receiving checks in the sum of $500 each towards their individual causes. Founder of the club, Luke Brown, says, while the club has modest resources, it always seeks to make the best of what is available.
The first person is Mr. Javon Oliver from Kingston Hill. Now, Javon is one of the victims of the Christmas Eve rains and floods. His house was destroyed in that episode completely, and he also suffered a broken leg which required some medical attentions. The other individual who we would be making a donation to this afternoon is another club member, someone who graduated out of the club. His name is Matthew Charles. Matthew's particular problem was that he had a bout of meningitis some years ago, and that required special surgical intervention as well, and it had which had significant cost implications. So we're going to make a donation to those 2 individuals.
Meanwhile, the recipients expressed much thanks to Brown and his club for the assistance.
Just feel great, good. Yes.
And of course the money is going to go towards good use.
Yes, for his schooling.
Any special thanks at this time?
I would like to thank Mr. Luke Brown for his kind assistance to me and my family.
All right. How about you?
My name is Richard Bailey. I'm Matthew Charles' father, and I'm so thankful Mr. Luke Brown for this little gesture, and it will go a long way.
Still to come, cultural penetration plaguing today's society and misleading the youths, says NWCP chairman. More stories on the local scene when SVG-TV News continues. Don't go away. Welcome back. Protect our children and preserve our future. That's what the keynote speaker at the symposium held today, organized by the National Commission on Crime Prevention, the NWCP, wants the world to know. Janetta McSwain, who herself was a victim of child abuse, is calling on parents and the relevant authorities to be a listening ear to children who may be victims of abuse.
These kids are afraid. It's easy to say, come tell me somebody touch your vagina, if somebody touch your penis. So we gotta stop saying the JJ, and we gotta stop saying right here and right here. You have to tell kids their body parts. You have to tell kids what their body parts is. That's just the plain truth. That's no other way around. You can't say pee-pee and boo-boo all the time. Tell them what it is. Because somebody may be touching it. But when they said to me, what happened? I couldn't tell anybody. It was a secret. And it still is a secret today. That's why I'm here. Because we have to break that silence. We have to break that shame.
Meanwhile, chair of the NWCP, Sir Vincent Beach, is of the view that the ease of cultural penetration is what is plaguing society today. Beach said that it is so acute that students don't even know what is happening around them.
Brought out the set program. I don't know if you understand what the set program is. It's a program government brought out for student employment and training. It's something nearly like the YES program. It's a year, but it's a higher program where you're paid, your stipend is a lot more, and so on, to give people, those persons, first degrees and with A levels and so on. I went on the radio because Petro-Carib funds it and explained it, asked those persons who qualify to apply. The Prime Minister spoke about it. Cabinet Secretary spoke about it. But after the program was closed, we had people coming in and said they never knew about it. Somebody told them. So I said, well, what are you listening to? They might download 30,000 songs from their iPhone or wherever it is and so on, but they don't listen to what affects their future.
Sir Vincent further states that the rights of a child can only be achieved if there is proper parenting. He says even as a single parent, all parents have a responsibility to ensure that his or her child is safe.
But I was a single parent, and I know a whole lot of people who are single parents. I've never been to the court. I've never been brought before the magistrate. So, what is wrong with modern-day society? Parents, I think, must take a lot of the blame for this.
Sir Vincent terms the symposium as timely, noting that child abuse is on the increase.
We are glad that we can have someone who can impart first-hand knowledge and give reasons how she was able to overcome, if you want to call it stigma. I don't know if it's a stigma because it was not voluntarily done. How she was able to overcome the pressures from the society in which she lives and rise where she became an author, has a doctorate, and I am sure that her words today would live in our memories, and I hope that you, the young ones especially, would be able to go out and share this message with those less fortunate who are not able to be here.
Assistant Superintendent of Police and Prosecutor at the Kingston Magistrates Court, Glenford Craig, is sending a strong warning to persons involved in predial larceny that law enforcement officers will be getting tough with them. He sent this warning on Tuesday when Dave Bob, a 23-year-old unemployed young man of Richland Park, appeared at the court before Senior Magistrate Richard Brong Matthias, charged for the theft of one ram goat, the property of Osborne Thomas, also of Richland Park. Before imposing a 6-month jail term on Bob, Senior Magistrate Brong Matthias said when persons appear before her and are found guilty of such offences, she will have no alternative than to impose a custodial sentence. Lisa Hooper, a 23-year-old woman of Camden Park, was convicted this morning at the Kingston Magistrates Court for several drug-related charges. Hooper was arrested and charged on July 24th last year following the discovery of 1,235 grams of liquid cocaine in a suitcase at the E.T. Joshua Airport. Hooper was jointly charged with British national Nathan Smith, who was on vacation here, for possession of the drug with intent to supply to another, conspire to export, and the trafficking of the said drug. Hooper was ordered to pay a fine of $27,000, of which $13,500 was to be paid forthwith or face 2 years jail term. The balance is to be paid by June 23, 2014, or another 2 years would be imposed for the drug possession charge, while 2 separate suspended 3 years jail term were also imposed upon her for the other 2 charges. Smith is presently serving a 2-year jail term for the said offences after he recently pleaded guilty to same. Hooper was represented by legal counsel Jomo Thomas. Police are investigating a shooting incident in the Bottom Town area which took place today. SVG-TV News was informed that Mitchie Webb was shot in the incident which occurred around 10:30 a.m. He was taken to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital with gunshot wounds to his abdomen. Up to news time, we had no information on his condition, but were told he had to undergo emergency surgery.